There is always a room to learn. I tried this delicious dish called egusi pepper soup, and I really want to learn how to cook it. I'm still learning, so if you see some mistakes, I'm learning. There's always a room for growth. So here I have all my ingredients, my meats, my pomo, everything, my dry fish, my ogusi, my pepper. I added a little bit of shrimps. I added a little bit of too much of the ingredients, which wasn't necessary. But like I said, this is my first time cooking it. I've never cooked this dish before. It was my first time ever cooking it, and I thought, let me make a video just showing you all how I cook it. I made some few mistakes. I add a little bit of one or two ingredients. I add a little bit too much, so it didn't really turn out the way it should turn out. But the taste, I still end up getting the taste. It tasted delicious. It really tastes delicious. Just that I could add less of some few more ingredients that I added a little bit too much. Next time I will add less. So I'm definitely going to try this dish again. But then now I know the mistakes I make, and I know what ingredients not to add more of next time. But overall, I really, really love this, and it is very, very simple. I didn't know that this dish is this simple. It's very, very simple, and I just loved it. So I really want to learn how to cook it, and I'm just adding all my ingredients. I had my pepper soup spice. I had my onions, garlic, ginger, red pepper. I add a little bit of too much of this red pepper. Actually, this red pepper is not necessary, but I just wanted to add my own twist. I can add red pepper, but just that I added too much. Just too much. But now I know for the next time, I don't have to add that much of this red pepper. But anyway, like I said, I'm still learning, and there is still a room to learn. Egusi pepper soup is not a dish from my country. It's a Nigerian dish. And I'm from Sierra Leone, so we don't have egusi pepper soup in Sierra Leone. If we do, that I do not know about, correct me in the comment box. But I know that this is a Nigerian dish. And I'm learning. I love egusi soup. I know how to cook egusi soup. But egusi pepper soup is something new to me. And I tasted it with some swallow, with some fufu, and I really, really loved it. And it's very simple to cook, but when it's your first time doing anything, you don't do it as perfect. It's not perfect the first time, so you have to give it like multiple try for you to know exactly the perfect recipe. For me, I added too much pepper. This is where I know, okay, this is where I went wrong. I added too much pepper. I added too much egusi. Those are the two mistakes that I made. And so if you're going to try to cook this dish, it's super delicious. It's very, very simple to cook. Try not to add too much pepper, and especially the red pepper. Don't add too much of the red pepper, and do not add too much of the egusi, because the egusi, when it's soaked, is going to rise up and it's going to get more thicker. So I added too much egusi and I added too much of the red pepper. Those are the two mistakes I make, but now I know for the next time. But overall, I love this dish. It's really, really beautiful, and it's just very, very simple to cook. So now I'm just adding everything to the meat. So it's just everything like boil. For me, egusi pepper soup just look like when we cook boiled soup in my country. Boiled soup, you just add everything and just allow it to boil. It's very, very simple. So now I'm just adding the mixture of the pepper, garlic, ginger, and pepper soup spice that I added, and I'm just adding everything into the meat. Just mix it everything and then allow it to boil. You have to allow the meat to boil before ever adding the rest of the ingredients. So I just go extra and add some shrimps. If you know me personally, I love shrimps. Shrimps every single day, every morning, every night, wake me in my sleep. As long as she cooks something that has shrimps in it, I'm ready for it. So now I have everything boiling, and the meat, everything is just boiling. I'm just tasting to see if the pepper is too much. I didn't want to add a lot of pepper, and I'm also cooking something like macaroni pasta at the corner, just because this is something new and the kids don't know about this. So I didn't want to be I didn't want this to be the only dinner I have in the house. So I'm also cooking something aside in case the kids are like, I don't like it, or I don't want it. At least there's something else for them to eat. I don't have to force them to eat something that they don't like, because especially when it's something new in the house. But luckily, they loved it. Luckily, they loved it. They were like, Mama, this is so delicious. I made some fufu, some swallow. They loved it, but I was just preparing myself. I didn't want any chaos, I didn't want them to be like, oh, I don't like this, and me getting mad or getting upset. So I was like, let me just cook something aside for in case, I'm right now, I'm trying to be stress free. So that is the other pasta that I was cooking. So now that everything is just boiling, I added my egusi. Actually, this egusi that I add was more than enough. It was okay. But me being me, like I said, it's my first time cooking this. I went ahead and add more and more egusi. This is where I made the mistake. This is the part that I realized that I fucked up. This is the part that I realize now that I messed up. I went to add more egusi, and of course, egusi, when it soaks, when it's cooking, it's rising up, it's getting more thicker and thicker, which of course, it's not supposed to be thick like egusi soup. This is the part that I realized that I messed up, but it's okay. Most important thing, I got the taste. It tasted delicious. Just next time, add a little bit less ingredients instead of adding more. But this is beautiful. So I'm just going to allow everything. You guys can see the egusi is cooking, is getting thicker. So I end up adding a little bit of water because it's getting really thick. So I'm just tasting it to see if the pepper, the Maggi, the salt is enough, because I didn't want to make it spicy for the kids as well. So I loved it. Here, this you guys see, it's very, very thick. It wasn't supposed to turn out this way, but because I added a little bit too much of egusi, so of course this is what I get. But I don't mind. Most important thing, the taste is still there. It tastes delicious. I actually get what I'm going for, just next time a little bit less. So this is the pasta that I made for the kids, but we all end up eating the EGUSI pepper soup because the kids loved it. It was something new in the house, and I made a little bit of swallow because I didn't know if they will love the soup. So I just make a small pot of swallow. But at the end of the day, everybody loved it. I loved it. If you have tried this dish, let me know in the comment box. I'm definitely going to try it again, and just for me to get it exactly how it's supposed to be. Team Fullest, thank you guys so much.